Good morning and welcome to Another Child Foundation TV. It's our first episode, so we're excited to be offering you a different way of interacting with Another Child Foundation. We're just excited about this whole process of being creative with the way we share our message of showing Christ's love to children. So welcome. My name is Tim Olafson, and I am the director of Another Child Foundation. And what we're going to be talking about today is our summer internship program, or the Ambassadors for Christ, by serving in Romania in the summer of 2015. So really what I'm going to try to keep this to 20 minutes. That's the goal. And I have received some emails in advance of this, like you saw on our blog, where you could send emails to us with some questions, or you can text me. So if you want to send us a question during this time, you can send it to director@anotherchild.org. That would be a good way of getting email to me, and I'll read those a little bit later. Or you can text me. You can text me at my cell number, 815-303-1725. And with that being said, send in those questions, and I'll answer them in a little bit. So as we go through this, you might want to have some pen and paper for some notes. We're going to kind of go through this quickly, try to get this done in 20 minutes. So really, what am I hoping to accomplish today? Basically, what I want to accomplish, I want to be able to share with you what the program is about, and then some of the logistical details. So basically, what I want you to know when this is over is, can I do that? Is that something logistically that fits in my calendar for 2015? And things like that. So let's just go through. Let's just get started, and then I'll answer some of your questions. Really, the vision of the program, the Another Child Foundation Ambassadors for Christ program, is really take college and age kids. And I'll just read this. It says, the vision of Another Child Foundation Ambassadors for Christ is to provide experiences for students and young adults by reaching, teaching, and transforming their hearts, which in mind opens up things to new ideas, cultures, languages, places, experiences, creating a greater appreciation for participating in what I call biblical injustice. A lot of people call it social injustice. I call it biblical injustice. The interns, or our ambassadors, will learn a lot about leadership. Some leadership qualities are going to be needed by the people, and things like that. So really, that is the focus, is to understand in a different culture, in a different language, and actually see and go out and help and make the world a better place in places that are really suffering with social, or what I call biblical injustice. So like I said, if you have any questions, mail them to director@anotherchild.org. And even if you're not watching this as a live broadcast and you're just watching it on a tape version, you can still send those questions in. It's director@anotherchild.org. So really, let's just talk about the process real quick. The process is really 8 steps. And the first step you really need to do is pray. Pray, is this something that God is calling me to do? I think that's a very important part. If you feel called to do that, or you feel led to ask some more questions, then really you can go to our website, anotherchild.org, and you can submit an application. On our mission trips page, you can see something for summer internship opportunities, and you click on that, and that'll take you to a page where there's an application form. At this point, you'll have to print that out, fill out the questions, and submit that to our missions office. And all that information is on the website. So really, the first part is pray, and the second part is submitting an application. Then once we receive your application, we will set up a phone interview with you, unless you live locally in Illinois here, where the missions office is, Princeton, Illinois. Then we might meet face-to-face, but probably we'll do a phone interview with you, answer any questions you have, and we'll ask questions of you about your experience and things like that, and availability. What dates could you serve over there? Because everybody's different. They have different times in which they can serve. And then we'll go through the selection process. That's something Another Child Foundation does. We get a board of directors that'll select the interns that will serve in Romania. We'll go through the dates here in just a second. But so the fourth part is after the interview is our job. We'll select the interns, And then once that is done, then it's really up to you guys to, if you need to raise the funds needed to go on the trip. We'll start getting the budget ready. We have a good idea of what that'll be, but we'll start finalizing budget so you guys will know how much money you need to raise. And then we get into orientation or training, and we'll be doing that probably in the springtime, maybe March and April. We'll start doing some training. You'll get to meet the other interns that'll be going over there, and that's a fun time. We'll be doing those on calls similar to this, or on a kind of Skype call or something like that. If we could all get together, we might do that too. But usually the interns come from all over the country, which is exciting. And then you actually have the time in which you depart and go to Romania and serve, and that's fun. And then when you get back, we'll do a follow-up interview. We always try to learn, what did we do well, what could we have done better, so really to enhance the trip for the next interns that go over. So we like to learn from you and get your input and things on how the experience was for you. Really, so let's go to the dates of note. And let's make sure I'm covering everything I wanted to cover. And the first question I got in was, is that a cowboy hat? Is that a cowboy hat up there? Well, actually it is. That's a cowboy hat that I got. That's a Romanian cowboy hat. So yeah, so that came in. Dacian and I bought that. Dacian is the director of Fundația Buckner over in Romania, and yeah, we bought those together, and people are saying those were our thinking caps. So anyway, yeah, so that is a Romanian cowboy hat there in the background. Okay, I'm going to hold off on the other questions, and we'll talk about dates to note. Really, I mean, you can submit applications at any time as long as there's spots available. But the first batch, it's important to know that the first batch of interviews we do, and we are getting more and more interest in the internship program this year, so there might be times in which some people can't go, unfortunately, because we have too many applicants, if you will. So really, it's December 1st is that first date, which is very important. So if you feel called and you want to submit an application, we will look at all applications up until December 1st. And then we'll do our interviews with that batch of people. And at that point, we'll make some selections on who can serve in Romania as another Child Foundation Ambassador for Christ. Once we get that process done, if we have other openings, then as applications come in after that, then we'll fill in with that. So December 1st is the first very important date. And then, like I said, we'll schedule an interview. And then on December 15th, that'll be our first date in which we have our first selection of interns. So that's the second date that's very important. And then if you are selected as an intern, the third date that's important is January 15th. January 15th is the date in which you will have to have your deposit in. That's a $500 deposit, and that confirms that, locks you in as an intern for us in 2015. Then March 1st is the next date. March 1st, you're going to have a $1,500 payment made. So that'll be $2,000 at that point. You got your $500 deposit on January 15th. March 1st, you'll need $1,500 more. And then as we get to May 1st, then we'll have the rest of the budget kind of figured out. We'll have everything finalized by May 1st or very close. And then you'll have a final budget number, which we will give you, and the balance of your internship will be due at that time. The number I can give you that we are estimating, but it's all dependent on airfare, and there's other things that just come up that we're just not sure of this far in advance. But I think $3,600 to $3,800 might be a pretty fair estimate of what it would cost to be an intern for 4 to 6 weeks. Once again, it depends on when you go and what's happening over there at that time. But I would say anywhere from $3,600 to $3,800 is going to be close. That's about the best I can tell you at this point. So really, those are the dates to note. And real quickly, then we'll get into some training. And I know a lot of the questions you guys might have is, what am I going to be doing and stuff like that. And those will all be covered during the training, which we're going to be talking about setting schedules, and not just that, your schedule, but who you're going to be interning with, and then what we're going to be doing while we're in Romania. Of course, mission teams will be coming over and things like that. But what are we going to be doing when mission teams aren't there? who we're working with and stuff like that. And we'll introduce you to Buckner Romania or Fundația Buckner staff over there. You'll meet Gabi and stuff like that. And you'll be, so really Gabi is the person that will be your boss, if you will, for the summer. And she'll be handling a lot of your logistical things. So you'll meet her. We'll do some leadership development, teaching you some leadership techniques that you will need to know, some sensitivity training, since you'll be working with people from different culture. You need to understand a little bit more about what they do, how you're going to be working with mission teams, what your role is going to be on the mission teams, because you won't be really just necessarily a mission trip participant. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be assisting teams. You're going to be, and sometimes you might be like a trip participant, but sometimes you might be leading them, depending on the experience of the team and stuff like that. And then we'll talk about handling money once you're over there. And real quick about the money, all our trips are all inclusive. So once you pay all this money that we've talked about by May 1st, once you have that all paid for, you shouldn't have a need over there. You shouldn't have a financial need. We will give you back some of the money to buy your food and stuff like that, but a lot of your bills will be paid up front. So if you went over there with just very little money, you're going to be comfortable. All your needs will be taken care of. So all of our summer internships are all inclusive, same as our mission trips. So we'll teach you how to handle that money, how to keep receipts, how to log what you're spending your money on, because there is some accounting type things that we need to handle while we're over there. So really questions. I did get a couple in advance, so let me just go through those. One of the questions we got is, how long can an intern serve? It's a very good question. Basically, our internships will run from May 15th through July 31st. So that's basically 10 weeks in which you could serve. So for some college students, they get off early, and May 15th is available for them. So maybe they go over from May 15th to June 15th. We like to do it in 4-week blocks if possible, but there's 10 weeks available in which you could go and serve. So one of the more important things that you can figure out is your schedule. When are the possible dates in which I can? You might say, I prefer to be there from June 1st to June 30th, but that might not work out just because of different logistical things. So you really need to understand your schedule for the summer and then allow yourself to be flexible within that. Another question we got was, what is the first important date I need to know about? And I kind of covered that. It's December 1st. December 1st, you need to have your application in. And then by December 15th, if you get that application in by December 1st, by December 15th, you'll know whether you are going to serve in Romania in 2015. How many interns? How many interns will be serving in Romania with Another Child Foundation? Really, we want 4 at a time, maximum. Typically, what we've done in the past, we've had 4 in June and 4 in July. Actually, we've never had a full slate of interns with 4 at both times. But typically, we like to limit it to 4, because if we get more than 4, then we have some different challenges come up. So you'll probably be working with 4 interns if you're selected, 4 others at the time. What else was there? Is there anything else? Let me look. Let me check my email here real quick. Okay. Yeah, I think that covers that for right now. Costs. I mean, I talked a little bit about the costs. Really, the costs are all inclusive. So once you get everything paid, so basically what we do, let me talk about it this way. We have 2 costs. We have land costs and your airfare. Basically, your land costs are your lodging, your transportation while you're over there, all your food and entertainment, and all those things that come. And those costs are usually set pretty quickly. And then you got your airfare. So you got your land costs and you got your airfare. So you get those 2 main things. Your land costs are all those logistical things, and your airfare, of course, is the cost to get over there. Typically, we like to do that 90 days in advance for about 3 months. So March, April, May, June. So it's like March 1st is the day in which we would probably start to book airfare. Um, and that's the reason we have our first payment due at $1,500 then, because that'll pay for the airfare. The airfare is typically $1,300 to $1,500. We typically book those air flights for you, but if you have your own agent or travel agent you want to do, or if you have somebody's donated miles to you and stuff like that, we would allow you to book your own flight, but we can help you with that. That's typically what we take care of. So that's really costs. Fundraising. Fundraising is something that we can help you with. ACF doesn't necessarily fundraise for you, but we can provide materials and ideas for you to do some fundraisers. We've got some creative ideas that people have done in the past, and you just need to be creative, knowing that there's a lot of people out there raising funds for different things. So the more creative you can be, sometimes hosting a Romanian dinner at your church is a good idea. A lot of people do that. Or they serve some Romanian cuisine, maybe some Romanian desserts and stuff like that. Just something a little bit different that people might be, hey, that's interested in, I might, want to try that out. So be creative in your fundraising, and we can help you with that if you have questions. And we kind of got a plan in which you can follow to do that. So we try to make that as easy as possible. The other thing I'd like to say is we've never had one person that felt called to Romania not be able to go because of lack of funds. It's just God provides. It's really funny to see how God provides. And I got a little bracelet here. It says, when God guides, God provides. And I have to remind myself of that quite often. So I'm always looking to be led by God, and if I'm doing that, then I know He will provide. Let's see, a couple other questions that I had that came in is what responsibilities will I have? Basically, our responsibilities, what you'll be doing over there, is it's all about relationship building. We believe, and Other Child Foundation believes, that it's all about building relationships. It's working with kids, it's working with mothers, it's working with staff and volunteers in Romania, it's working with your teammates, your fellow interns and the mission teams that come over, but really about sharing God's love through building of a solid Christian relationship. So your primary responsibility will be to build relationships with people in a loving manner. That's the way. What you'll be doing, will I be leading a vacation Bible school, Bible study? Will I be doing games and stuff like that? Those things all work out. We'll take your strengths, whatever your strengths are, we'll utilize those. And maybe if you have a weakness, maybe we'll look to help you make that not a weakness. So we work with people on the exact details of what they're going to be doing, but your responsibility is to build relationships. The other question we had was, what different activities we'll be doing with kids? Our VBSs are very diverse, if you will. Sometimes we're doing VBSs for little kids, sometimes we're doing for older kids, sometimes we take to a camp. So we have lots of different opportunities to do different activities with kids, from crafts and games and Bible study and things like that. So there's lots of different ways in which we earn activities with kids. What criteria? That was another good question. What criteria will be used to select interns? And really, there's a few. One is mission experience or travel experience. Let's just go mission experience. What experience have you had in the mission field? Is it serving at a VBS at your home church? Is it going on a mission trip to Appalachia or Katrina or something like that you've done in the past with your youth group? Or maybe you've done study abroad in college or something like that. So, but we're looking for your mission experience. What type of mission experience do you have? Have you worked with children? Do you like working with children? Because the majority of your work will be working with children. Then what type of travel experience? Have you ever spent time away from your family and things like that? So if you've never done that before, it can be trying. And when you're gone for 6 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever the time frame is, and you're somewhat isolated from your family, your comfort zone, so we evaluate that too. Leadership ability, we're always looking for strong Christian leaders. So you need to emphasize that on your application. What strong leadership ability have you shown? And the other thing that's frankly important is are you currently involved in Another Child Foundation? Have you advocated? Are you a voice for our cause of helping orphans and at-risk children in Romania. If you have that experience and you are doing that, you're more likely to get selected. So those are just a few of the things. So you got mission experience we're looking at. We're looking at travel experience, leadership ability, and do you advocate for ACF currently? Really, that's really the questions. One last question I get, how can I differentiate myself from others? That's a good question. Good question. I'm not sure. It's passion. I guess that would be my first. If you got a passion, if I can sense a passion for your desire to work with orphans and at-risk children, I think that is probably the thing that might differentiate you more than anything. So if we're talking and you seem disinterested and stuff like that, then maybe you wouldn't be differentiating yourself from others. But if you're excited and have lots of ideas and stuff like that, that's the type of person that we're looking for. Somebody that truly wants to make a difference. It's not just an experience to go over there as a one-time thing, but we're looking for someone who's really looking to make a long-term difference in God's world. Once again, that's really all the questions I have, and I see I'm right at 21 minutes already. So I'm going to call it a meeting, call this closed. But if you got any questions, director@anotherchild.org is my email. You can always call me, 815-303-1725. Love to chat with you. But I think that's going to be it. That's going to be the end of our 2015 summer internship meeting. Let me get this square. It's hard to do. So that's that. And and this will be the final episode or final minutes of episode 1 of ACF TV. So I want to thank you. God bless you, and feel free to respond. We'd love to see you as an ambassador for Christ for Another Child Foundation in Romania in 2015. Have a good day. Bye.